Welcome to Mercho Insider. Has it ever happened that your heart suddenly starts beating fast for no reason, or a small thought triggers such a storm of worries in your mind that you lose sleep for nights? That you feel suffocated in crowded places, your hands go cold before a big meeting, or if someone doesn't reply to your message, 1,000 negative thoughts start swirling in your head. These are the feelings many of us experience. Sometimes it feels like our own mind is out of our control, trapping us in an endless cycle of worry, fear, and fatigue. If all of this sounds familiar, know that you are not alone on this journey. Today, we will delve deep into this very condition. This leads us to our most fundamental question: is our own mind working against us? It's a very strange feeling, isn't it? The body is ours, the mind is ours, but it just won't listen. It tells us stories that have no connection to reality. It shows us dangers that don't even exist, and it convinces us that something very bad is about to happen. So, in today's exploration, we will try to understand this internal battle. Why does our mind do this, and what are the ways we can change its programming and make it not our enemy but our best friend? Let's get to the root of this issue. To understand anxiety, it's first crucial to know it doesn't come from one place. In our brain, there are actually two very different systems at work that create this unease. One is the amygdala, our emotional brain. This is a very old part of our brain. Think of it as a watchman whose job is to sense danger and immediately sound the alarm. It is very fast and very emotional. On the other hand, there is the cortex, our thinking brain. This is the newer, intelligent part of the brain that handles logic and planning. It is very wise, but this is also the part that weaves webs of what-if questions and keeps us troubled. So understanding the difference between these two is the first and most important key to gaining control over anxiety. Whenever you suddenly feel panic, it's very important to know: is this the amygdala's fast, automatic reaction, or is it the result of the cortex's slow overthinking? Because the treatment for these two kinds of anxiety is completely different. One is directly related to the body and the other to thought. Let's understand both a little more deeply so we can apply the right solution to the right problem. First, let's talk about the amygdala. This is the part of our brain built for our survival. Its only job is to recognize danger and prepare the body to fight or flee. When the amygdala activates, it releases chemicals throughout the body. Heart rate increases, breath shortens, muscles tense, all so you can face the threat. The problem occurs when there is no real danger, but the amygdala still sounds the alarm. This often happens because of some old, forgotten memory. For example, if you had a fear of getting lost in a crowd as a child, you might suddenly feel that same panic in a mall today without understanding why. This fear is uncontrollable and very intense. Now let's come to the cortex. This is the logical, analytical part of our brain. The anxiety arising from the cortex doesn't come suddenly, it builds gradually. It's a web of thoughts that we weave ourselves. For instance, if you are preparing for a job interview, the cortex starts thinking, what if I give the wrong answer to a question? What if they don't like me? What will happen to me if I don't get this job? One negative thought follows another, and our brain creates the worst-case scenario. In this type of anxiety, we might appear completely calm on the outside, but inside, a storm of thoughts is raging. It's exactly like a mental movie that we write ourselves, direct ourselves, and then scare ourselves by watching it. So now that we know anxiety has these two different faces, let's talk about ways to deal with them. Let's start first with the fast, intense physical anxiety that comes from our emotional brain, the amygdala, because the ways to handle it are completely different. The most important thing to understand is this: when the amygdala activates and the body is in a state of fear, our logical brain, the cortex, almost goes offline. At this time, telling yourself, "Don't panic, it's nothing," is absolutely useless. It's like arguing with a fire instead of pouring water on a burning house. The amygdala doesn't understand words, it understands the body's signals. Therefore, there is only one way to turn off this alarm. Send it a message through your body that everything is okay, everything is safe. One of the most powerful techniques for this is box breathing. When we panic, our breath becomes fast and shallow, which signals even more danger to the amygdala. Box breathing breaks this cycle. The method is very easy. Sit comfortably. Inhale deeply through your nose for 4 seconds. Then hold your breath inside for 4 seconds. After that, exhale slowly through your mouth for 4 seconds. And finally, hold your breath outside for 4 seconds. That's one complete cycle. Doing this just a few times begins to calm the nervous system, and the brain gets the message that the danger has passed. Along with breathwork, there are other physical methods that work instantly. One technique is grounding. When the mind is lost in fearful thoughts, use your senses to bring your attention back to this present moment. Look around you and name 5 things you can see. Touch 4 things and feel their texture. Listen to 3 sounds reaching your ears. This simple practice pulls you out of the storm of thoughts and brings you back to reality. Similarly, splashing cold water on your face gives the nervous system a jolt and helps reset it. Or simply get up, walk around for a bit, and bring all your focus to your steps and your breath. Great. So we've learned ways to calm the emotional brain. But what about this anxiety that arises from our thoughts? For that, we need to work not on the body but directly on the brain itself and give our thinking brain, the cortex, a new strength. Here we will use thought itself as a weapon against thought. So the foundation of anxiety stemming from the cortex is cognitive distortions. What are these? These are faulty thinking patterns that twist and turn reality before presenting it, exactly like a crooked mirror that doesn't show your true reflection. They are simply bad thinking habits that force us to believe negative things, whether they are related to reality or not. This is the biggest fuel for anxiety, and recognizing them is the first step towards changing them. Let's look at some common examples of cognitive distortions and how to correct them. 1. Catastrophizing, hitubahienus himachanainus, taking a small negative point and imagining the worst possible outcome. Example: if I'm late for the meeting, I'll get fired. Bringing it closer to reality: if I'm late, I will apologize and explain the reason. 2. Mind reading, he dimaginus, he parhanainus, assuming we know what someone else is thinking. Example: he didn't reply to my message, he must be angry with me. Replacing it with a more realistic thought: he is probably busy. 3. All or nothing thinking, he subanus, he kuchnus, he yainus, he nahiinus, seeing everything as either perfect or a complete failure. Example: if I don't get full marks on this exam, I am a failure. A better alternative: even if I fail, I will learn something new from this experience. The best news here is that our brain is not a line etched in stone. It is flexible like plastic. Science calls this neuroplasticity. This means we can change the wiring of our brain. Whenever we think a new thought or do a new thing, new pathways are created in the brain. Initially, these pathways are rough, like a faint mark left the first time you walk on grass. But the more we repeat these new, positive, and realistic thoughts, the more solid and strong these pathways become. Eventually, it becomes easier for the brain to travel on these new, peaceful pathways than to walk the old, negative ones. Now we are moving towards the final and perhaps deepest part of our exploration. We have learned ways to calm the body and change thoughts. But there is also a power greater than all of these, and that is the power of acceptance. This is the art of not fighting anxiety, but understanding it and living with it. Our first natural instinct is that whenever we feel anxious, we run from it. We distract ourselves, try to suppress this feeling, or avoid the places and situations where we feel it. But there is a big problem with this. The more we run from fear, the bigger and more powerful it becomes. When we avoid something, we are teaching our brain that yes, this thing is truly very dangerous. As a result, the next time the fear returns with even greater intensity. So, what is the alternative to running away? Acceptance. Acceptance does not mean you like the anxiety or that you are giving up. No, acceptance means allowing yourself to feel whatever physical or emotional sensation is happening in this moment, without labeling it or making a judgment about it. It is like standing in the rain and allowing yourself to get wet, rather than trying to stop the rain. When you simply sit with the feeling of anxiety and feel it, you send a very powerful message to your brain. This feeling may be uncomfortable, but it is not dangerous. And gradually, the brain starts reducing its automatic reaction to this false alarm. And the final step is to stop seeing anxiety as an enemy and start viewing it as a teacher or a messenger. Anxiety is often trying to tell us that something in our life is not right, is out of balance. Perhaps we need more rest. Perhaps we need to set some boundaries in a relationship. Or maybe we are living a life against our own values. When we look at anxiety from this perspective, curiosity replaces fear. So let's end today's exploration with a question, one I want you to carry with you. What is your anxiety trying to teach you? Pondering this question is the beginning of transforming fear into wisdom. It gives you the power to understand that your mind is not your enemy. It is only trying to protect you, even if its method is wrong. And once you understand this, you can teach it again and chart your own path toward peace. If this exploration has shed any new light on understanding the workings of your own mind, please do share it with your family and friends who want to improve their lives. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, MIRCHO Insider, for more such deep, life-changing knowledge. Thank you very much for your time.